Welcome to the world of urban legends, where stories ignite curiosity and myths blur the lines of reality. These whispered warnings send shivers down your spine, while mysteries challenge your perception of the world. But beware, for in this realm, nothing is as it seems. A candle in the dark. It was a move that John and Sarah had been waiting for years. They had recently moved to the tranquil heart of the Cornish countryside, leaving behind the hustle and bustle of London city. 60 is the new 40, they say now, said Sarah. This is the best thing we have ever done. Why didn't we do it sooner? They had purchased an old, rustic house with dreams of a simpler, more fulfilling life. Their days were filled with the symphony of roaring seagulls, and their nights were graced by the gentle lull of crickets. Their happiness was palpable, a shared dream finally coming true. Their new home was a fixer-upper, and together they spent countless hours restoring it. John, a rugged handyman, on this day dedicated himself to the task of repairing the porch floor. The rainy morning turned into a sunny summer afternoon. He was deeply engrossed in his work, a perfectionist, determined to make the house perfect for his beloved Sarah. Sarah, a picture of contentment, decided to drive into the village to gather supplies for a special dinner that evening. The thought of spending a quiet evening with John in their cozy home on the new porch brought a smile to her face. She kissed him and hopped into the car and shouted lovingly, "I will see you soon," as she drove off. But fate had other plans. As she drove to the village, she was still a little uneasy on the narrow, winding roads, but her confidence was growing, so she was driving more speedily than she had when she first arrived. As she crossed an aging bridge, she noticed that a tractor had been over it recently, before she had, as the road was covered in wet mud. Panic washed over her, and she lost control. The car plummeted into the river below. In those terrifying moments, her life came to a tragic end. Sarah found herself in a surreal realm, greeted not by heavenly gates, but by the grim visage of death himself. She couldn't believe she had passed away and begged for a final chance to see John. Death, in an uncommonly gentle but deep tone, agreed and produced a small, flickering candle that seemed on the brink of extinguishing. "There is not long," he said. The world was a void, and the candle was their only source of light in the darkness. Death took hold of Sarah's hand in his cold skeletal hand, and they embarked on a journey through inky darkness. Time felt both infinite and fleeting as they moved together. It was as if they traversed an eternity in the blink of an eye. They arrived back at the house, atop the very porch where John was labouring earlier, but now he appeared pale and ailing. His face was etched with exhaustion, and it was evident he had not slept in days. Sarah couldn't contain her joy and called out to him, but there was no response, no recognition. "But he can't see me," she said. Death turned to Sarah. "You said you wanted to see him one last time, and you have, but I never promised that he would see you." Tears welled in Sarah's eyes as she realised the truth. As Sarah gazed at the dimly flickering candle in Death's bony grip, her voice trembled as she asked, "So, is that my candle you hold burning so low and ready to extinguish?" Death, the embodiment of the inevitable, replied in his deep, sombre tone, "No, Sarah, this is not your candle. This is John's life." A sense of despair washed over Sarah as she realised just how close John's life had come to an end. "But it's so low," she whispered, her voice heavy with concern. However, as she continued to watch, a dreadful realization struck her. John had abandoned his work on the porch floor. He was now attaching something to the ceiling. It was rope. In a desperate frenzy of fear and love, Sarah cried out, shouting and pleading for John to stop, to hear her, to reconsider. "John, don't do it! Please hear me, don't go through with it!" "Stop him." Death remained stoic and unresponsive to her desperate pleas. He held up the waning candle to his lips and blew it out. The end. We hope you'll return for more spine-tingling stories in the future of the Tales of the Unknown, where wishes come true and nightmares become real.